Have you ever felt that an initial failure could define your entire journey? That unexpected defeat that seems to crush any hope of moving forward? Minamoto no Yoshitsune knew this feeling very early on. As a child, he was torn from his family, exiled, and condemned to a life far from what he had imagined. Not exactly a promising start for someone destined to become one of history's greatest warriors. But Yoshitsune did not resign himself to fate. Instead of allowing adversity to shape his destiny, he decided that he would shape it himself. You may have been in that place, too, looking at circumstances that seem insurmountable, feeling the weight of uncertainty about what comes next. But, just like Yoshitsune, you have a path to follow. Defeat is not the end. It is an invitation to evolve. Separated from everything he knew, Yoshitsune found an unexpected answer in his solitude. He studied, absorbed every possible lesson, and trained relentlessly with the sword, with battle tactics, with the art of thinking like a warrior before he even became one. You too can find strength in difficult moments, when everything around you seems to say you have failed. That might be the exact moment to develop new skills, refine your own strategy, and prepare the ground for your comeback. It is said that Yoshitsune studied with monks in secret temples, learning techniques few knew. This knowledge, acquired far from the battlefield, would become his advantage in the future. Have you ever considered that the difficulties you face today may actually be a phase of preparation? What you are learning, even amid chaos, could be exactly what will give you the edge when the time comes to act. History shows us that even the most legendary warriors started under unfavorable circumstances. What set them apart was how they responded to challenges. A difficult beginning does not determine the end of the journey. What you do with your challenges is what truly shapes your destiny. But persistence alone is not enough. Even the most skilled warriors rely on the right alliances to triumph. Like Yoshitsune, you will also need to choose carefully who stands by your side. After all, what truly transforms a warrior is finding true allies, and that will be your next lesson. Are you surrounded by people who truly believe in your potential? A warrior's journey is never solitary, and Yoshitsune knew this from an early age. His talent and determination were undeniable, but his rise did not happen solely by his own hands. He had to build strategic alliances, choose his companions wisely, and understand that, alone, he would never achieve greatness. You also face challenges that seem insurmountable. With each step, your strength is tested, and often you feel like you must fight alone. But the truth is, the choice of your allies can define your destiny. Yoshitsune understood this when he allied with his half-brother Yoritomo, a partnership that promised to lead the Minamoto clan to victory against their enemies. Together, they had everything they needed to conquer Japan. And what about you? Are you surrounded by people who propel your growth, or by those who merely drain your energy? Like Yoshitsune, you need to be discerning. He did not trust just anyone. He knew that true power came from those who shared his goals and could strengthen his journey. Individual talent is crucial, but without support, without the right alliances, it can be wasted. Yoshitsune did not just surround himself with allies, he learned from them. He was mentored by experienced warriors, absorbing knowledge that would shape him as a leader and strategist. He understood that learning from those who came before him was an advantage that could determine the course of his journey. You also have mentors around you, people whose experiences can enrich your path, whose lessons can be the difference between a mere attempt and a true triumph. But even the best alliances can be tested. Yoshitsune believed he had found a reliable ally. in Yoritomo, but fate had another plan for him. Betrayal is a shadow that can arise even among those who seem closest. And when that happens, what defines a warrior is not just the pain he feels, but how he reacts. So, who stands beside you? Who truly walks with you? And who might just be waiting for the moment to turn their back? These are questions Yoshitsune had to face, and now it is your turn. Because the next battle will not be just about trust, but about how to deal with betrayal and rebuild. And that will be your next lesson. What would you do if you were betrayed by someone you deeply trust? The pain of betrayal is a silent blow, not from a declared enemy, but from someone who was supposed to stand by your side. Yoshitsune knew this feeling like few others. He fought alongside his brother, Yoritomo, believing that together they could restore the glory of the Minamoto clan. But at the height of his journey, when he expected recognition, he found only the shadow of persecution. Betrayed by the one who should have been his greatest ally, Yoshitsune was forced to flee to save his own life. And you, perhaps you have felt the weight of betrayal, broken promise, shattered trust, a partnership that turned into a trap. But Yoshitsune teaches us that betrayal, no matter how painful, does not have to define you. He did not surrender to despair or succumb to bitterness. Instead, he used his intelligence, skill, and strategic mindset to rebuild his position. He was not just a skilled warrior, but a master in the art of adaptation. Imagine yourself in that situation. Pursued by those he once called allies, Yoshitsune had to use every piece of knowledge he had gained throughout his life to survive. He fled through secret routes, disguised himself, confused his enemies, and kept his honor intact. Betrayal did not break his spirit, it strengthened his determination. You also have that choice. Pain can paralyze, but it can also fuel a new path. You can allow disappointment to consume you, or you can turn adversity into strength. There is something fascinating about how Yoshitsune handled this moment. It is said that he used disguises to blend in among travelers, navigated hidden rivers, and used his cunning to evade Yoritomo's men. His escape was more than a retreat, it was a testament to his ability to overcome challenges with strategy and intelligence. And that leads us to a crucial point, when everything seems to be against you. Your mind is your greatest weapon, asterisk. But resistance alone is not enough. The fight for survival is only the beginning. Sometimes, moving forward requires a complete transformation, a new path, a new identity, a total reinvention. Yoshitsune had to reinvent himself to keep going. And now, you must also ask yourself, what are you willing to do to rebuild your own journey? Have you ever had to completely change your plans to survive? When everything around you seems to collapse, when the path you envisioned suddenly closes before your eyes, what do? Yoshitsune faced this reality when his position was destroyed. His allies scattered, and his own brother declared him an enemy. Without support, without a home, hunted by those who once fought by his side, he had to abandon his old path and reinvent himself and you. Perhaps you have experienced a moment like this, the feeling that everything you worked for is lost, that you need to start over or find a new direction. Yoshitsune teaches us that when the road ahead seems blocked, creating new opportunities is the only alternative. He did not surrender to the cruel fate imposed upon him. Instead, he sought unexpected alliances, tried to unite with different factions, and explored every possibility to remain relevant. Your strength lies not only in what you already know, but in what you are willing to learn. Yoshitsune used his intelligence and courage to adapt to his new reality. You can do the same. What appears to be an ending may, in fact, be a new beginning, if you are willing to see it that way. Sometimes, letting go of old certainties is the only way to make room for true transformation. Interestingly, many accounts suggest that Yoshitsune was inspired by the strategies of Sun Tzu, the legendary Chinese strategist. He understood that wars were not won by strength alone, but by cunning, by the ability to change direction quickly, and by seeing opportunities where others saw only defeat. This philosophy can be applied to your life today. Adversity can be a powerful teacher, shaping you to be more strategic, more flexible, and stronger than you ever imagined. But even the most astute warrior cannot escape every battle. And when the final moment arrives, there is no more room for retreat or adaptation. It must be faced with honor, and that will be your next lesson. How do you want to be remembered when your journey comes to an end? In that final moment, when no more choices remain, what will be said about you? Yoshitsune faced this question head and not in a moment of glory. But in his last stand, surrounded by enemies, betrayed, with no escape, his life was coming to an end, but his dignity remained intact, and that ensured his name would never be forgotten. You also face challenges that seem insurmountable, circumstances that press you, that make you question whether there is a way out. In his last battle, Yoshitsune did not seek to flee, nor did he try to negotiate. He knew his defeat was inevitable, but he chose how to face it, and that choice defined his legacy. In difficult times, the instinct may be to retreat, to avoid conflict, or to surrender to circumstances. But Yoshitsune teaches us that courage is not just found in victory, it lies in how we face adversity. He fought until the last moment, refused submission, and ensured that his story would be remembered for generations. You have that power, ability to decide, in your most difficult moments, how you want to be seen, how you want to be remembered. Life can push us into painful moments, into situations that seem to have no way out. But how you face those moments reveals your true strength. Yoshitsune could not change his fate, but he could decide his stance toward it. You may not control everything around you, but you will always have control over how you respond to adversity. His story has echoed for centuries. Today, Yoshitsune is seen in Japan as a symbol of courage and honor. Even his defeat did not erase his name, it etched it into eternity. What you do today can define your own legacy. But to do that, you must choose. How will you face the challenges ahead? And more importantly, what mark do you want to leave on the world? Now, one essential question remains. How can you apply these lessons to transform your own journey? What can you learn from Yoshitsune to become unforgettable? The story of the legendary warrior was not built on absolute victories. In fact, Yoshitsune was not immortalized by his triumphs, but by the resilience he showed in the face of adversity and the impact he left on the world. His journey, filled with challenges, mistakes, and injustices, did not stop him from being remembered centuries later. And that is his greatest lesson for you. How many times have you felt that your efforts were in vain, that the difficulties outweighed your achievements? Yoshitsune could have surrendered, accepted his fate, and disappeared into history as just another defeated samurai. But he didn't. Even when pursued, betrayed, and surrounded, his legend grew. Leaders and warriors throughout the centuries found inspiration in his journey. Poets and playwrights transformed his life into timeless stories. What made Yoshitsune unforgettable was not the perfection of his path, but the strength with which he faced every obstacle. You don't need a flawless path to leave your mark on the world. Your struggles, your defeats, your internal battles, they are all part of your story. What matters is not the moments when you fell, but how you chose to rise again. What you build from adversity is what defines your true legacy. Today, Yoshitsune is seen in Japan as a tragic hero, a symbol of honor and courage that transcends time. Many temples, festivals, and narratives preserve his memory, perpetuating the story of a man who faced everything and never abandoned his dignity. And you, what will your mark be? What will you do with the challenges you face today? You can allow obstacles to define your story, or you can use them as fuel to build something greater. Now, one essential question remains. How can you begin your own journey of transformation? Life always tests us. With every choice, every challenge, you are shaping the course of your story. Yoshitsune faced his destiny with courage, and now you must decide, what will you do with the obstacles ahead? You can flee or learn, hide or fight. But what truly matters is that, regardless of your choice, your journey is being written now. If there is one thing Yoshitsune's life teaches us, it is that a difficult beginning does not determine the end of your path. From childhood exile to the betrayal of his own brother, every blow he suffered could have marked a definitive end. But he persisted. He adapted his strategy, built alliances, learned from masters, and faced every challenge with strength and intelligence. You have that same ability. The difficulties you face today may actually be the foundation of your growth tomorrow. You already know that you don't have to face your challenges alone. Yoshitsune sought allies, learned from the best, and you can do the same. But above all, he never allowed pain to define him. He turned his adversity into legacy. His story was written with blood and honor, but what remains to this day is his courage and determination. Now, you have that same choice. Your journey may not be perfect, but the impact you leave on the world is what truly matters. In samurai philosophy, every choice builds the warrior's path. It is not only great deeds that define your journey, but also the small moments of courage, the decisions that shape your character, and the strength with which you face life. Yoshitsune did not choose his fate, but he chose how to face it. And you, how will you face your own challenges? How will you make your journey memorable? Now, the decision is yours. Are you ready to take your first step and write your own legend? If this video inspired you, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment which lesson from Yoshitsune resonated most with you. Together, we continue this journey. The warrior's path begins now.